Oh, good evening there, my dear sinners. Thank you for joining me on this lovely occasion. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a franchise of movies where a species overruns the Earth and the humans are left to fend for themselves? Well, my dear sinners, look no further. You want any points for creativity? No. We have seen this a billion times before. Species overcomes, tries to take over the human race is left to fall into brink of extinction, and we must all find a way to start over and carry on our lives about normal differences as per usual. Everyone with me so far? Ah, good. Thank you. Please keep your arms, legs, and inside the rides at all times. And now, my dear sinners, let's have some Bible. Planet of the Apes franchise has been out since the early 1970s when they started making these movies. When they started to reboot the entire thing, everyone's American favorite toucher of love, James Franco, started off this franchise where he just wanted to help his father suffering from dementia, who wanted to create a virus strand that would help humans. Instead, he used it on apes. Unfortunately, the virus would then kill humans and then make the apes superiorly stronger. Everyone with me so far? Good. Then, needless to say, the saga decided to turn into The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which we just don't need to talk about that one. And then we can go into The War of the Planet of the Apes. Andy Serkis, given the motion capture god that he is, has always given us good performances by his work. And let's face it, every time they make a villain in any movie, he either has to have a scar or something cheeky about his face. I know Matthew Reeves cannot be easy shoes to fill when you're going from one director to the next, but when I found out that Matthew Ball was going to be taking his places from the Maze Runner franchise, I had some pretty high hopes for this. And needless to say, my hopes were pretty well satisfied, for the most part. It's like going out on a date with an expensive woman that you weren't buying for an hour only because your local nun was busy. You say you're going to take her to the finest restaurant in town and you end up taking her to a Sheetz drive-thru. Your intentions may well have been good and pure, but the execution in the endgame was still the same. Shit. And trust me, Mr. Sinister knows a thing about raw deals and Sheetz drive-thrus. And there's one thing we know that we can't compare. It's that when Andy Serkis played the great character of Caesar, him no longer being around, they had to introduce a new protagonist. And then we were introduced in this movie to Noah. Noah was a very simple character. And the time when this world is set 300 years after the last movie, Noah is compared differently to the rest of the apes in this world. He's not as intellectual as the others. He's flawed. He's not smart. He's kind of a klutz, needing and always willing to prove himself to the rest of his tribe to earn their respect and admiration. Noah, like the rest of members of his tribe and those before him, have to do basic rites of passage, going on missions and journeys and basic necessities throughout their culture and throughout their own heritage, which they've established for these apes in this trilogy of movies, which is some pretty decently good writing, I have to say. But once Noah experiences sadness, loss, grief, when things go horribly awry, trying to earn everyone's respect, you truly see the adaptation of this character, where he changes and becomes the best version of himself through trials, tribulations, and ultimately becomes a very good character. Even when you have a good protagonist and you think the world is going to be stacked against you, even when Noah loses his sense of morality, this orangutan here, which I don't know why orangutans are always the wise ones, but let's face it, it just fits, because you get lines like this.
Show mercy.
Even with simple dialogue like this, you're going to have your protagonist, and you're not going to be complete without a good antagonist. What better antagonist for a monkey? There's another antagonist of another monkey. And just for argument's sake, we're just going to call this guy Proximus Caesar, which is what is called in the fucking movie, so this is what we're going to do. And I can't really say too much anything else about the character. He comes off as more as a religious zealot, even more of a cult leader that tries to conform people to his cause, to get everyone to join his little gatherings more, until Noah sees a particular problem about the directory of where the culture is going, where the race is going, and ultimately the preservation of his own people. Real original work there, boys.
Are we thankful for the words of Caesar?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the chimpanzee version of Joel Osteen. You're welcome.
Oh, okay.
So, my dear sinners, May, one of the characters that's introduced in this movie, who's essentially going to become the key to everything. And when I say she's the key to everything, that's because humans in this trilogy now have went backwards in the timeline scale of evolution. They can barely talk to no talking, write or read. But this MacGuffin here is the key to everything, and she can for some reason. How is it that she can write, read, and speak? Don't know. That's what you gotta see for, my dear sinners. Essentially, this movie can be viewed if you just feel like turning your brain off. And when I say off, you need to turn your brain off, throw it in a volcano, and just relax. Then, my dear sinners, you will have peace. How much longer can you keep a franchise like this going? You have a world that's taken over where apes are now the main population. The humans are the extinct ones. They're going back in the evolutionary world on the scale of priority. How much longer are you going to keep these franchises going? Jesus, fuck. Even MacGuffin May, her character was not as bad as it can come out to be even in this movie, but once you have someone that's the key to everything and you have to find out why they are the key to everything, especially in a world like this, it just takes the real world and the intensity out of the movie. If you want to go see this movie, go ahead and see this movie. But I will tell you right now, you will be bored out of your mind if you do, if you use any type of common sense. I know that's not what people were expecting, my dear sinners, but unfortunately, you can't turn this franchise into the Fast and the Furious franchise. Too many, too much, too fast, too soon. Until we meet again.